Presented by That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster, this is Shonen Jumping the Gun, the show where we set our sights on the first chapter of a manga and decide if it's a misfire or a bullseye.
Let's see how many rounds are in this magazine.
On today's episode of Shonen Jumping the Gun, Kyokuto Necromance.
Welcome everybody to Shonen Jumping the Gun. I'm Isekai Sensei-sama, about to raise Kermit the Grog from the dead.
Hi. We're keeping that. Yes, I'm here, raised from the dead, your social media mogul, Kermit the Grog. Here with, as stated, Isekai Sensei-sama Brad, Master Necromancer. Brad, how you doing?
I've completed the ritual. Now is the time.
Now is the time.
To record this episode.
Now is the time to get a 6 stand. It's just a stand. Maybe. I don't know.
Certainly what it looks like.
It sure looks like it. Yes, we are talking about Kyokuto Necromance, as you probably heard in the intro.
Not Necromancer.
Not Necromancer, just Necromance.
Because that's how I read it every single time up until I stopped for a second when you kept saying Necromance, and I was like, that's not right, it's Why isn't he saying Necromancer? And then I looked at the title and I was like...
That's because what it is, I did my research by writing down the name of the series, which is not research, it's the basic level of support I can do with it. But no, this is a series that just recently dropped in Shonen Jump. Its first chapter dropped April 21st, 2024, and we will catch up later how many chapters are out at recording. I guess, spoiler alert, it's not just the first one, but it's still fairly early. As
our listeners know, the fact that it dropped recently doesn't necessarily mean that you're listening to this.
Recently.
Close to when it dropped.
Such is the way of things. But yes, with that out of the way, let's get through my patented Kermit speedrun Kermit.
Yeah, that is patented.
It is patented. We open on a dark-haired man on the phone with a strange feminine nymph-looking creature on his shoulder, talking about taking on a request for a friend of his. Cue title card, Kyokuto Necromance. We have MC-san talking to his grandmother, surprised she will join him on a trip to the supermarket. They share familiar banter along the trip. MC-san narrator monologues that his mom has been gone as long as he can remember, that his dad is dead and has left a ring behind, and that his grandmother is his only real family left. All of a sudden, as they return from their trip, Baba-san collapses and weird demonic virus-looking things start coming out of her. MC-san calls for an ambulance, and we wake up at the hospital. Gengi is fine, but in low spirits for causing trouble, but MC-san knows how to cheer her up. MC-san has to go to school now, but is still curious over those weird virus things he saw. He runs into a crowd at school. Supposedly somebody famous is here. And wow, he unexpectedly knows MC-san's name, which is Kaoru Uno? K-A-O-R-U?
That's probably fine.
Kaoru Uno. You have Uno. It's the man from the opening, Yuji Amane. That one I can do easy. He's technically a famous novelist, but is here for his proper day job. And Kaoru, he's here for Kaoru. Yoji, the strange man, goes on a griping tirade about online trolls, and I quote,
"There is an abundance of positively inhuman ghouls stalking social media, and those ghouls come talking to me like they're actually humans."
Yeah, this man gets lit up online, but I like him. He speaks my inner truths. Students want his autograph, which he gripes about, but does anyways. He's complicated. The two go to leave in Yoji's car, as he is here by request of Kaoru's dead father. He is here to protect Kaoru and his grandmother, as well as taking back the ring. They drive while discussing the ring, and Yoji mentions having to explain Shiryu to explain the ring. Yoji grabs out at something at first invisible, then crushes it. It's a demon-looking thing, akin to earlier, which Kaoru reacts to. He can see it! They want to go find his grandmother to cleanse her, but there she is, walking along the roadside. How fitting. They quick park and make chase. All the tiny Shiryu come out of Granny and merge into a big one as she collapses. The big one pulls a wooden doll with a face like Gengi and goes to eat it, but Kaoru goes in to fight it and gets rocked. He starts to worry about dying, but fires up and goes in for another round, going to punch with his hand with the ring on it. Weird smoke pours out of his fist as he punches the holy heck out of the demon, and then a man only describable as a JoJo stan appears next to him in the smoke. We flash back to Kaoru's father on his deathbed, giving the ring to Kaoru, saying their family is plagued by Shiryo, and that he can't protect them, but now Kaoru will. The demon heals and goes in for another hit, but Yoji appears and slashes it apart. Don't just exterminate them, hunt them and absorb them. How very Pokemon of you. He slashes it apart more before summoning the imp from before to cutely eat the pieces. It's Shiryu Pokemon, my dude. Catch them, level them up, and evolve them. That's what a Necromancer does, and is Yoji's day job that he did with Kaoru's dad. Yoji offers Kaoru his business card and says he's been paid to protect them. Kaoru fires up and says he is going to become a Necromancer to protect his family, and thus starts their journey.
Indeed.
I didn't think I was going to like this from the art and the topic. I am charmed by this in a way that I can't quite put my finger on.
Interesting.
I like the dialogue. I like Yoji. He's strange. I like how much the weird ghost man, they don't pay attention to him. He's just sort of present in the back. Like, obviously you can see him because it's not like the animation, the frames move by too quickly, but it's like, it's never paying attention to him directly. It's not like, there's a ghost guy and we're commenting on it. He's just kind of there. I don't know. What'd you think of this one?
I didn't have anything like, negative about it. Like I read it. I distinctly remember having a thought about halfway through, more specifically when they started fighting the first bad guy that came out of the grandma, where I stopped and I went, are we doing this again?
Yes, we are. I know. We are. I thought we were finally free of supernatural ghost stuff. And this one said, no, you're not. And I went, okay.
So I guess my main criticism of this is that it's not doing anything new.
No.
I didn't see anything in this that stood out to me and made me go, oh, this is new and interesting and I want to be on board, you know?
I don't think it's the new, most amazing, exciting new thing, but I am, like I said, I am oddly charmed by it in a way that I can't put my finger on. And I have, like, curiosity. It didn't just blow its wad and tell me anything. I feel like our clearest comparison point is Shadow Eliminators.
Yeah.
Which died a death Hatui.
Which was my first one that I went, oh, this is like Shadow Eliminators. Oh, wait, this is like Nui's Exorcist. Oh, wait, this is like Bleach.
Oh, wait, this is like Jujutsu Kaisen.
Just over and over again.
And it's not, I mean, obviously we only have one chapter, so it's not spicy as, like, Dawn to Dawn, because Dawn to Dawn's like popping off. I don't know. We'll have to cover Dawn to Dawn at some point from when the anime comes out.
Yeah.
So you'll finally get to experience it, and I've got to go back to it. But like, this one feels more like young adult, older teenage.
I can see that.
It's more young adult novel level than like younger to mid-teen. It feels a little bit more like it. I shouldn't like it. It's more morose. The art style's more chill in that regard, and I love cartoony and over the top and the thick black lines, and this is none of that. I think I was also just charmed by the main character's relationship with his grandmother.
I think it might be that this is like the most refined version of what it is. Like the first chapter here was exactly what it needed to be. They didn't give you too much.
Yep.
They didn't give you too little. They're like,
they emotionally connected me to the main character.
Right. Here's your emotional connection to the main character. Here's how this world works at a base level. Here's a bit of backstory, and we're done.
It was a vertical slice.
Yeah.
Instead of a horizontal slice.
Which I think is exactly what you need in a first chapter to like hook you. So from that aspect, and like the way the dialogue is written, the way the art is drawn, like it all feels like this is a mangaka that knows what they're doing.
Yes.
So even though it's not original, it is the most fully baked version of what this is.
That's a good way to put it, because it keeps coming back to my thing of that way that you can feel when you can feel an artist and an author knows what they're doing and what they're going to do next, and when you can feel that they are waffling and they don't know where they're actually going meaningfully after, like, they know where they might end, but they don't know where they begin or where they go after that.
Right.
And this feels all of its movements feel very deliberate.
Yeah.
And it's that sense of trust. Not every series builds trust of where we're going. Shadow Eliminators built no trust. I never felt emotionally that connected to anybody. I never understood where it was going in a meaningful way. I didn't get enough mystery to make me curious about, like, because it's like, there's this weird ghost man. Future Vision, I still don't know, but he keeps showing up in the backgrounds when things are popping off. So he's important. Like, again, it's that sensation of, like, the author of, like, I'm planting this for later. And to feel that is, like, pleasant. I guess, spoiler alert, depending on, I mean, some of this depends on the order these come out. I think Astro Royale came out.
Yeah. And
we're planning on releasing Psych House, the third of this clutch of manga eggs that came out around the same time.
Yeah.
I think this one's my favorite of the three.
Really?
Right now, I don't know if I'd say it's the best of the three, but it's my personal pick of the three.
Okay, that's fair.
If there's
that's fair.
if a distinction like that can happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's doing yet, but I've built enough trust already that that's okay. I feel like we, and by extension other people we talk to about these things, sometimes can get too panicky in the first chapter where we're like, I don't know what this is or where it's going. And the answer is, chapter 1 doesn't owe you that.
The whole point of chapter 1, like I said, is to hook you.
Yep.
And there are very specific ways to do that. And a lot of people miss that mark. So when they hit the mark, like in this case, it makes you go, there might be something here.
There might be something here. It's interesting and I guess I'm guilty of this, of that people will see it and go, oh, I know what this is. I'm making judgment calls. I mean, literally, it's what our podcast is. I'm making judgment calls on this from what I know other series to be doing. And I also don't like the judgment calls that I'm making, so I don't like this manga. And it's just like, I don't know. I think I try to temper when I predict things here that it's like, I'm just predicting and I don't know.
Yeah.
This is me trying to guess the spin of the planets or something, or of the ball. And sometimes it was just like somebody came to conclusions where it's like, how did you get here? There's not enough. I don't know. Saying that, I guess, what do you think will happen next? What is this a battler? Is this something else?
I mean, it certainly looks like one. It looks like it's going to do the thing that they do. Where you've got these people, and we're going to meet more people, and they all do this thing, and then there's a big bad that's going to be there, and you have to work up to that. It's the standard thing that we've seen with Bleach. It's my prediction that I made for Shadow Eliminators.
But it doesn't look like any. I know. Like, literally, we're judging the book by its cover, but like, it looks different.
Yeah,
it does not look shonen-y,
right?
In the classical sense.
Just because those are major beats that it might hit doesn't mean it's going to go about it in the same way. The fact that there is sort of a standard structure for shonen supernatural battlers and a certain structure for sports manga and so on and so forth doesn't mean that every single one that does that is doing the same exact thing. They're just beats that get hit because of what it is.
But I guess it's the question of, is it a battler?
I guess we don't have quite enough information from the first chapter, but it certainly looks that way.
It could just be like a problem solving. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm also coming in here with a little more future vision.
I mean, he literally turns that girl ghost thing into a sword. So.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. They haven't talked about that.
Which
again, more future vision, just because I'm genuinely intrigued by this manga, because I enjoy reading the chapters and the world it's building, but I don't know where it's headed yet, but I will gladly follow it for now.
I'm gonna say this now. If the ghost of the main character, like, goes onto his arm and lets him punch really hard, I'm gonna scream.
I don't think that's going to happen. I will also scream if that happens.
The first thing he did was try and punch that ghost.
True, yeah, you're right. But he doesn't have like a punching
ghost.
background. Like he was just really scared for his grandma. I don't know. I'm intrigued. I sorry I just keep going back to that, but like genuinely, like I can't explain fully why. I'm just, and it's not like, because there's other ones where it's like Rory Dragon where like I'm charmed. This dialogue is charming, but just like I'm curious.
Yeah.
My appetite has been whetted to want to know where are we going, what's going on next, but not in a way that of like you've written these checks and they must be cashed. It's just like you're doing something, and I don't quite know what it is, and it does in ways feel very generic, but you also feel very sure. It doesn't feel like you're just kind of flailing your way into this and going, well, these are popular, I'll do this. It feels very deliberate. It's that weird. And that's,
like I said, I
I'm
feel
a vibes-based human.
This is a mangaka who they have experience. They know what they're doing.
I mean,
we probably should have looked them up.
We've seen other series that, oh man, I feel like this is, I want to say people said this is the author from Aliens, A-word?
Arena.
Isn't it Area?
It's Area.
I think it's Area, but it became such a gag of saying other words and screwing it up that it was just too good to pass up.
Area 51 and 64.
69, nice. But no, I mean, what? When we covered Astro Royale, that's the Tokyo Revengers guy, and like, I know you don't know that, but like, that was a really giant big hit. Like, that thing sold like gangbusters. It felt like it came out of nowhere. And I know this is a different episode, but the Astro Royale, I don't think that reflects that level of pedigree or success yet. We'll see. But no, let's get into, let's do flop poll. Let's do our ratings.
All right.
So
I'm going to throw it over to Truxon, who's going to give us the rules of the range. Yes.
Hey everybody, it's me. It's Truxan, your friendly neighborhood Truxan. It's Truxan's Rule of Range. So we're at the bottom. We got Dead Walking, dead in 20 chapters or less, an early grave, like Do Retrial or Candy Flurry. Next up from that, we got a flop, granted a stay of execution, under 50 chapters, like a Fabricant 100, or a Doran Dororan, whatever that is. Next up is It'll Live, hangs on just past flop zone, sub 120 chapters, like PPPPPP, or Magu-chan. Then we got Solid, series that does well but hasn't reached its true popularity, like an Akane Banashi or Undead Unluck. Can get an anime. Then we got the hit, truly popular with an anime and hundreds of chapters, like a Black Clover or an Assassination Classroom. And finally, oh my gosh, the Supernova, industry shaker and shaper. Readers want to be with them, other manga want to be like them, like a Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. And that's Truxan's Rules of the Range. Back to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Truxon. So as you've heard, we have a nice list of things we can pick from.
For your vote.
A wide range. So you want me to go first?
Yeah, I thought that's why I passed it to you to go, what's your vote? I passed it to you by saying the phrase, what's your vote, Brad?
As professional as I think this is put together, I'm just going to have to go with It'll Live, because I feel like the supernatural battler stuff is well past its welcome. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. This could be a last hurrah that is a send-off for this trope, but
there is always afterbirth.
But that's what it feels like to me. I think that it's not going to flop. It'll continue on for long enough, but it'll be decidedly middle of the road for its lifetime, unless there's a key point in there. They introduce a girl that everybody's into, or there's some quirk of the power system that is really intriguing. And that
becomes more generic, and by the book, it will become popular, says Isekai Sensei Sama Brad.
But if it's got one of those hooks, it'll hike it up to hit. But as it appears now, It'll Live.
Okay. I agree. This is one where it's like, it seems fine. I don't know how the heck the audience is going to feel like that, because more and more as they hate the things that I love. Admittedly, those are sports manga. I extra can't trust my own judgment against theirs as the ones who control the magazine, but like, yeah, I would say It'll Live is a good clear spot for it. Yep. What are your feelings?
It's fine.
Yep, I got that vibe.
Yeah.
I'm putting good. It's good.
I'm going to keep reading this. There's only 3 chapters out. It's easy. So
we do have our updated. Would you continue? Would you pay money to buy the Tenkabon to keep reading this? I gotta update everybody on the Discord about this more. I gotta update my visual, which I can't because it's on my old computer still.
And everybody's going to be really confused because there's going to be episodes with that in, and then episodes
That's why
without.
I'm talking about it every time we do it now until that becomes we've gone through that backlog. Would you pay money to buy the first Tankabon if you went to the bookstore and you leafed through that first chapter and read it, and would you go, I'm going to take this with me and buy it? Don't just steal it. That would be rude.
I'm gonna introduce something here that's a little weird, which it's also a little weird because this is only the second or third time we've done this.
Yes, correct.
But I would buy this, and read it,
and
then give it to you.
I would buy it, but as a gift.
I'd read it.
Yeah.
But then I'd be like, okay.
I feel like it's the other way around, because I would spend money. I would buy it. I would want to keep reading, and then I would lend it to you when I was done.
I'll borrow your copy, and then give it back to you.
I guess that's the middle. I don't think I want to add more than yes or no, but I do feel like now I do kind of want to add the middle one of I would borrow this from my friend.
It's more positive than not.
No. Yep.
So on the negative side, it's I would leaf through it in the bookstore and think about buying it, but probably wouldn't.
Never buy it.
And then there's a no. So there's sort of like 4 different
There's
levels
4 quadrants.
Yeah. And this is on the better side of I don't really care.
And the way that we're putting the spin on
don't
these.
really care to own this and have it on my bookshelf.
Yep. See, this is why I think adding that aspect makes that question a lot more interesting. I mean, as stated, yes, I'm going to keep reading it. I would spend money to keep going. I was intrigued enough. And when I put myself against that fulcrum of would I buy it, the answer is yes. I'm too curious about it to not to. So at time of recording...
Which I did just say, there's only 3 chapters out
at time of recording, chapter 3 just dropped yesterday. So I have that future vision. You heard it come into this as we were recording. Brad does not. He's a good boy.
I'm probably going to go home and read it tonight because 3 chapters is so easy.
Yep. Technically, it's 2. You've already read the first one because that's the hardest one because it's twice as long. So,
and I learned my lesson. I didn't go into the Shonen Flop thread for this ahead of time, so I wanna read those 2 chapters and then jump into the thread and see where people are at.
You didn't dive in early before and played coy.
I got burned on that with Astro Royale.
Yeah, don't do that. Not good for you.
No, but then people are down on Astro Rail. I don't get it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I like Astro Rail.
We'll see. But no, this has been...
It might be dead by the time people are listening.
What? Astro Rail's going to live longer.
I hope
long
so.
enough for this to come out.
I like it.
It's not that. It's not, Dear Anemone, a podcast episode we've recorded months ago and still haven't released the time of recording. Maybe we never will. Maybe we'll release it when it's dead. It looks like it's trying to be U9. It's trying to be lower than the U19 club.
Honestly,
it's trying to make. I've called it Black Flops with the O of, so it's Black Ops, but Black Flops.
Yeah,
for that level.
I would feel better if it dies before that episode comes out.
It'd be really funny because I feel like we recorded it fairly early in its life cycle.
Yeah, it was only like 1 or 2 chapters.
Oh, was it really that early?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. This has been Kyokuto Necromance, everybody. Thank you for listening. And Brad, feel me full of lead. Arr!
Well, we want to thank Sugoi Mart for partnering with us. Sugoi Mart's a retailer of Japanese snacks, drinks, toys, and merch, and they got a lot of cool stuff you can't get outside Japan. Our listeners can check the link in the description or use code APR15 at checkout to get 15% off their order, which also helps us out. And we want to hear from you on social media. You can head to our website, animepodcasterreincarnation.com, where you can find all of our social links. And you can also leave comments on the episode posts there. And please join us on our Discord. We got a lot of fun stuff going on there, and we're always looking for more people to join in the conversations. Also, check out our Patreon. Our supporters get perks like getting to vote on which series we cover on heroin addiction, as well as getting the high-quality stereo version of this podcast early, and bonus episodes.
They're good stuff. We get in there with those. I'm really proud of those.
All tiers get the bonus episodes, which the lowest tier is only $1, so I think it's a pretty good value. And of course, we want to shout out our patrons. At our Reincarnator tier, we've got Cake Dwarf and Moon. At our Merchant tier, we've got Kill Hour. And last but not least, at our Commoner tier, we've got Rena. So thanks so much to all our patrons.
Thank you, patrons. Thank you, everybody, once again for listening. Make sure you listen to our mainline podcast. That time I got reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcaster. And Brad, can you believe these inhuman ghouls commenting on our stuff? This is ridiculous. I'm going to go get dragged on Twitter now. Good evening. No, I'm trying too hard now.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, there's like a little bit of Dracula in there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shonen Jumping the Gun. I'm your host. You know, these aren't actually very big. They're the size of peanut M&Ms, but they just have peanut butter instead.
Hell yeah. Okay, what do I want to do? Weird. Eating this was a war. My mouth is now a battlefield.
This ain't a war. It's a goddamn arms race.
The hit song Bad Company from the album Bad Company, done by the band Bad Company.
Is that how that song goes?
What?
This ain't a war, it's a goddamn arms race?
I think so. That sounds about right. I don't think I actually ever knew what they were exactly saying, but that makes sense. He's technically a famous blah, blah, blah.
Mangaka?
I'm going to take another... No, in fact, no. I'm going to take another run at this. Yoji, the strange man, goes on a griping tirade about online trolls, and I quote, "There is abundance of positively unhuman..." Did I not type this right? I didn't type this right. This line is not a sentence. I'm gonna vaguely... Do
you want the actual quote?
I would love the actual quote, because I thought I wrote it down word for word, but it turns out I had goo brain when I wrote this and didn't. We're cutting a lot of this. Shiryo? That's got to be a better way to say it. Shiryo?
I think that's, yeah.
All the Chinese Shiryu come out of Granny and merge into a big one as she collapses.
Chinese?
What? Chinese? All the tiny Shiryu come out of
Granny.
I
thought you said all the Chinese Shiryu.
No, all the time. Like, I'll take another run at that. I'm really effing it up today.
Yeah.
How do I end it? I don't remember.
How do we end this? What's that say?
It just says "and." Oh, current chapters. But yes, this episode has been Kyokuto Necromance.
Say it again.
Kyokuto Necromance? It does not roll off the tongue.
No, it doesn't at all.
I don't even know. Is the character's not named that? Why is it called that? What is that word? They should have localized it. Sorry, Japan. Sorry, cultural sensitivity. Should have localized it. Should have made it less garbage. I'm still in awe that Do Retry was a localization. That it was not. It was not that in Japanese. It wasn't like the.
That was a bad choice.
Bad choice. Because when I read it, like, oh, if it's Do Retry in Japanese, that's why it sounds weird.
Yeah.
And why the thing, but it's like being told, oh, that's not the bit that they do at all. It's a completely different phrase. It's like, what do you do? Like MMA? Good. MMA not present in the original Japanese? Present here? Good. Thumbs up. Good localization. Do Retry? Thumbs down. Bad localization. How do we end this podcast?
I don't know how much of that's going by the end after the beeps, but now I'm going to do the plugs.
Oh, I have to thank you for listening.
You did that.
Oh, I did?
Or did you?
Okay.
You said this is what it was. Go ahead. This was a mess.
This was a mess. Gosh, I don't know if my brain's just goo or it's been that long or what.
We're not having a good evening.
No. You
were looking at Twitter when I came
earlier.
You had Twitter pulled up.
Oh yeah, I was looking at somebody. A YouTuber. He was actually on Shonen Flop, Chip Cheesem.
Yeah.
They like moved somewhere in Europe, but I don't know where, and I'm like trying to learn because he got a new video game job, and I'm like, I'm curious what this is. Also, they have a cute cat. We're doing another of these. Hopefully, this crash course in the first one will mean the second one will be better.